Hi guys, and welcome back to Job and the Librarians. This is episode 4, and we're going to be discussing our thoughts and opinions on An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. I'm Ericka, and I run a blog called Howard-YA, and I'm also a young adult librarian.
Yay! Go ahead, you can go, Lauren.
Okay, I am Lauren. I'm a reference librarian, and I run an LGBT book club.
And I am Julie. I run a booktube channel, Pages and Pens, as well as the Buddy Read group that we do a lot of our buddy reading in for this particular book club. And I will also be running, just as a FYI and a welcome to everybody who is joining us live, I will be trying to do my best to run the live chat portion of this. So if you see me looking down or like see my arms doing typing, that's why I'm going to try to read as much as I can and get you guys in the live chat involved in this discussion as much as possible.
Okay, so Julie, could you read the synopsis because I don't have my dust jacket for the book?
I can. Can you shout while I do that? Can you put the link in the Buddy Read group for me?
Sure.
Awesome.
Let me get to it.
All right. So just to give you guys a quick idea of what this book is about, this is obviously about An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. We're really excited about this book for a couple of different reasons. One, I think we all really liked it. And two, this was a book that you guys voted on. We did let you guys vote, and this was your choice. So in order to avoid spoilers, we're not going to go into too much detail about the book. So the safest bet is just to read this dust jacket for you. So it says, under the Martial Empire, defiance is met with death. When Laya's grandparents are brutally murdered and her brother is arrested for treason by the Empire, the only people she has left to turn to are the rebels. But in exchange for their help in saving her brother, they demand that Laya spy on the ruthless commandant of Blackcliff, the Empire's greatest military academy. Should she fail, it's more than her brother's freedom at risk. Laya's very life is at stake. There she meets Elias, the Academy's finest soldier, but Elias wants only to be free of the tyranny that he's been trained to enforce. He and Laya will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself. So that is essentially what the book's about. And I've got to say, and I think we could probably all agree, one of the most like brutal and hostile like environments and worlds that I read about in a really long time, but so beautifully written at the same time. But this is a vicious world.
Well, the funny thing about you mentioning how brutal it is, I was going through Goodreads and the author's website today, and everybody everywhere kept talking about how much it reminded them of ancient Rome. And,
which I think is what it's supposed to be modeled after.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, as I'm reading it, I'm like, why do I feel like I know this place? Like, I kept seeing ancient Egypt, that kind of stuff, and then when they said Rome, like, that's it. That is totally it.
Do you have that link, Ericka? Did you grab it? Okay.
So far, the author's website has been my favorite of the links to go through. I might have and it's weird as a straight person to say this, but I might have a little bit of a girl crush on her.
She's pretty amazing.
Yeah, she is. And I was reading her bio on her website, and I mean, I was like, "You're awesome," and just laughing, and like, she puts, if I wasn't a writer, I'd be Trent Reznor, obviously.
I liked her playlist too, but I didn't realize that she had one created until she has a whole playlist of music that she loves that I don't know if she uses inspiration when she wrote it or not, but she's got this big playlist.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you go to her webpage, she's got a link that says music, and it's just playlists that she's put together that she just adores. And she also said, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a pirate or a bear. I'm like, I need to hang out with this person.
Those are your options. I'm just going to tweet out really quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the link. I had it. Okay.
I have it. Do you want me to send it?
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
I will put it in there now. Oh God, I turned that off. I turned you off. But yeah, did either of you listen to the audiobook?
I did not. I like audiobooks, and I've heard a couple good ones. I'm always more into a hardbound thing that I can hold in my hand and just flip the pages.
Mm-hmm.
I started out at first listening to the audio, but I didn't like the female narrator, and so I just switched to the regular book.
That makes sense. I listened to the second one and I discussed with Amber, who's in our buddy read group, that I was so thrown because, Lauren, you were saying that this was reminded them so much of ancient Rome, which I really do believe was a part of her inspiration. But some of the voices, especially the rebel voices, are Irish. Like the accents don't match where you think they should. Like it was weird. It was really strange for me to listen to and like wrap my head around it because the world I was picturing did not have Irish rebels.
Yeah, mine didn't either. I kept imagining, like I said, them being ancient Rome makes sense, but I almost imagine them to be in ancient Egypt and
Yeah.
in like a very Middle Eastern type of tones and speaking habits, and like I feel like the society and everything's more Roman to me, but in terms of layout and location, it's more ancient Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, with me, I think it was very similar. The whole setup, as a Roman type, setting for me. I honestly, I didn't really have a certain setting in mind because it kind of played out in the writing for me. But that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, I felt like the trials were very like Roman gladiator-esque, but then the djinn and some of like the mythology felt very like Egyptian to me. Like it was a weird collective mix of feels that I got from the overall vibe of the story, but it worked so well together. Like I actually really did like the way it all worked.
Yeah, it totally worked well, and and in thinking about it as ancient Rome, it kind of works with the weird eclectic vibes because I mean they were always kind of all over and bringing in all sorts of cultures and peoples, and I mean Rome within itself by the end was just very eclectic and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, overall, what did you all think from the story, the whole plot and whatnot? I have a lot though to say, but you guys can go first and tell me what you think about it.
Want to go first?
I
Lauren?
saw that Julie gave it 5 stars on Goodreads, which I was so surprised by that. Not that it's a bad book, but I'm like, with how much I liked it, I'm like, there's no way Julie's gonna give it like as high of a rating as I did.
Did you give
like
it 5
that's never
stars?
what happens. Well, we and I never rate things the same. Whenever you go high, I go low, and whenever I go high, you go low.
I gave mine 4 stars.
I was full on 4 stars too.
I sat down, and I think I even said it in my Goodreads review, but I really, when I sat down, I couldn't find a reason to take off a star, so I just went with the 5 star. I really did like it. I thought it was a really strong first book.
Oh, it totally was. The only reason I would have taken off a star, I did take off a star, is as book number 1 where they ended was great, but I'm like, there's more. Do they find her brother? Do they do this? Do they do? And so it almost felt slightly cliffhangery to me.
It's supposed to.
Yeah, it was originally. I think it was supposed to be a standalone novel, and so I'm glad they changed it to make a trilogy.
Well, and the from what I'd read, a couple people actually tweeted her, when this book came out and said, hey, when's the second book coming out? And she said, well, they only bought book number 1. I have plans for books 2 and 3. Everybody's story's plotted out. There's just nobody's bought the story yet.
Yeah, the beginning of the story with the raid and going to her house, I felt heartbroken for.
Lauren, can you mute?
Yeah,
there you go. Thank you.
Okay. I felt so heartbroken for Leia because at like right at the last second, everything was snatched away from her. Her mom and dad had already passed away. Then her granddad and her grandmother got killed by the mask, and then her brother got taken away by the mask as well. And she just was a small, frail, shy girl, and she wanted to be strong at the same time, but she did what she felt was best. And with her being thrust into the rebels, I think that was a good choice for her, and it was a good way for her to come into her own self as well.
It was. I think she showed a lot of growth and depth between the beginning when she is like terrified and runs, when her brother tells her to run, she runs, and then between that and then the ending of the book, you definitely see strength, especially once she gets to Blackcliff and has to deal with the commandant and all of that. So I think that it was a realistic, at least enough for me, transformation, especially given her motivators. And the group, by the way, everybody in the group also gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So,
well, I guess I just missed something then. 4.
Well, I am sorry, guys. I mean, blame it on me. That's usually what happens.
I don't know. I felt like because it was such a foundational book, and it wasn't a lot. I mean, there was a lot going on, but at the same time, it wasn't enough for me for a 5-star rating. But it did set the foundation. Sorry, Julie. It did
what
set
are you
the
looking
foundation for the
for?
rest of them. I don't know. It's just
I'm like, you've got murder and rebels and
I know.
all this plotting and the Nightbringer. You've got this evil commandant. You've got trials. You've got all I kept thinking, by the way, with like Kane and the rest of the augurs was the who are the people in Cassandra Clare's Shadowhunter series that are like the brothers, the
Silent Brothers.
The Silent Brothers. That's all I could think about was the Silent Brothers.
Yep. This story has some similarities to Throne of Glass.
By the way, I totally loved, sorry to interrupt, totally loved Julie's just sell of that, because when she was going through that, I kept envisioning the grandfather from the Princess Bride movie of, it's got everything, love and fighting and pirates, and you'll love it, just trust me.
It's true. Like, what else could you need? You got like a little dance flirtation at the Moon Festival. Like, what? Come on now.
I don't
Come
know.
on.
Sorry, I guess I'm just being devil's advocate right here.
It's all right. Everybody's allowed to think differently, even if some people think wrong.
But anyway, I mean, I did enjoy the story. The mom, I wanted to, if I could dive myself into a book, I wanted to murder her myself because she was so ruthless. And one part that stuck out to me with her was when Leia got caught with the seal for the letter, and she was trying to brand a K onto her chest, and the way she said, when Leia said don't do it, she was like, be still or something she said, but Leia described it as if you're talking to a lover. And I was like, how can she's calmly carving this girl, branding her, and not having any type of qualms, or she just was a ruthless woman. And then on top of that, her son is there and she despises him. Like, just his being despises her, and she wants to kill him off throughout the whole thing.
She is an insane, magnificent villain, though. Like, I think that she's like Umbridge to the Umbridge power. It's so bad.
Maybe she and Umbridge went to like high school together or something.
I mean, who knows? But yeah, I mean, her viciousness just in digging out eyeballs and her whipping, and
the girl was 5 when she did that. 5 years old.
I know. And that was one of the most jarring things, I think, to me as well, was reading this series and realizing how much Sabaa does not shy away from those situations and that kind of like truly unjustified evil and violence. There's really no explanation given throughout that book for the way that she is or the actions that she takes, other than, oh, she's the only female mask and she probably had to harden herself to earn respect. However, that's probably not enough of a reason for her to behave the way that she is. So I really do credit Sabaa for not humanizing her, like not giving her any reasons for being that way, because I think that so many villains, you try to see the good in them. She's very clearly one that we're not supposed to.
Yeah, and even she did have some sort of, when she was when Elias got caught at the end, and she was telling him how she did show a little bit of weakness by feeding him, making sure he was taken care of. But then it went away a split second later when she went back to try and kill him.
Yeah.
So
she did not care.
Yeah. And like the world, I really liked the way the role was set up, and especially how it started at the beginning, because there was a lot that was thrown in, but I felt like it wasn't enough to kind of make you wonder, okay, how can she top that later on within the story? Because she did a great job with doing that. And there are some trigger warnings out there, rape, because rape was mentioned a lot within the book, and just the brutality of the world and how it was just formed. I really liked how it was more so like a reality. It was more plot driven, and that's what I really liked about the story.
I really did too. And I'm trying to read through the chat room. Adrian said that she was one of her favorite villains, but in a weird, creepy kind of way. And
I will agree with that. Like totally. I love a well written or a well played villain, depending on a book and a movie. If you can, if you can get that across, and they are well acted, well written, whatever, and you completely don't sympathize. And like, look at the kid that played Joffrey Baratheon in the Game of Thrones. Like, the kid just nailed it. And same with the lady that's playing Cersei Lannister. They just nailed these characters, and you come out and you're like, I hate their guts. They are awful, awful people. Not even an awful character. This is an awful person. And that's part of the reason why I enjoy watching those characters and reading those characters, is because they're just so awful that you walk away and you're still mad at them for things that haven't even happened in the real world.
Yep. Amber said she's just one of those villains that's so scary because she's a total sociopath that you can't predict, and that she had to have come out of the womb that crazy. Like, no way being a mask or her training to be a mask actually made her that way. Like, that's just who she was. And Carolyn said that the mother was definitely a great villain, and she was definitely one of those characters that is listed even on like all of Sabaa's websites as being one of the main characters, and she's just insane. But I think a really great representation of how vicious that world is.
But I also think it's just a good representation, as bad as this is potentially going to sound, but it's a good reputation. It's a good representation of just evil.
Yeah, cold and heartless. Very much. And even her dad was like, what happened to you? Like, how did you become like this in the first place?
Though the dad kind of made me think of Tywin Lannister, just like this very cunning, kind of ruthless game player. That he understood the game, he understood how to play it, and he was the one moving the pawns in exactly where he wanted them. Even the reactions from everybody were exactly what he wanted them to be.
Yeah. And like I was saying with the brutality, another part that just strung my heart out when she was beating the 10-year-old boy at the beginning for deserting. What she do, flog him? She just flogged him to death. And that was just, like I said, I liked how the world is set up, but there are some things where you just like kind of cringe when you're reading it too.
Yeah, it's one of those, that scene was awful because it was the first scene that we really got that was a testament to how cruel the world was, but it was also our introduction to Elias and Helene and their like dueling takes on the world, and how she was really trying to protect him and was kind of like okay with what was happening because that's just what was supposed to happen. And you got your first taste of like Elias really not being all right with the way that things are run there, and how much he's really struggling to fulfill his role as a mask in this world that he doesn't agree with. And I've got to say that the Commandant is an absolutely terrifying villain, but I do think that throughout this series, Helene is like my favorite character.
Mine's too.
She's
I like
amazing.
that as well.
You know, oddly enough, I don't think she was my favorite. I'm totally Leia. I'm a fan of her.
Yeah, I guess I liked all of them, but what'd you say, Helen?
Helene?
Helene. She was my favorite. She just one of those kick butt type of characters that I really liked. But Leia, she wasn't not likable. She, like I said, given her situation, I think she handled it good. But she berated herself a lot for the decisions that she made. And then later on in the story, she kind of grew into herself. And the shadow that she's behind with her mom, because everybody reminded her that her mom was a lioness and reminded her that you aren't as good as your mom and you never will be. And that played a part with her as well. But I liked how she grew into herself as a character, especially at the end when she just was like, this is how it's going to be, this is what I'm going to do. And even with Elias, he even had to grow up a little bit as well.
Mhm.
And because his whole mission was to get away. He didn't care how it happened. He just wanted to get away. And when the artist came, they basically had to tell him, like, this is your destiny. You have to do this. And when he finally understood what they were trying to say, he realized that he had what he needed with him the whole time.
Yeah, but those augurs, man, I think that they're another one of those like scheming characters within the book where they're like immortal seers. They're supposed to be guiding, but they definitely have their own kind of withholding of truths to get these characters to do things, because you see after the trials like Helene be like, but no, but everything was supposed to be okay if I did this, and this isn't how this was supposed to work. Like nothing is working out for these kids, basically, is what we're getting down to. But it's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
started off at the beginning of the book like trying. I was like, I'm gonna mark stuff. I'm gonna put in some tabs. And then I failed epically after page 67. But because they happened earlier in the book, I wanted to share these quotes since they were earlier, and we've already discussed a couple of the points. So do you mind really quick?
No, go ahead.
Awesome sauce. So one of the first things that I actually marked was when Laya is running, when Darren tells her that she needs to like flee when the masks are at their house, and that one mask like actually lets her like take off and go running. And some of Saba's writing is so gorgeous. So she said, life is made of so many moments that mean nothing. Then one day, a single moment comes along to define every second that comes after. The moment Darren called out, that was such a moment. It was a test of courage, of strength, and I failed it. It was so heartbreaking for me because she took on so much of that guilt for just running, for just surviving, which is such like a base human instinct, but she felt so guilty about it.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the kind of thing that you hear about, like with when people come back with like PTSD and that kind of stuff, is they did what they had to do to survive, and nobody will fault them for that at all. But then they come back with these horrific memories of what happened, and they feel bad because they didn't, because somebody else didn't come back with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like I said, she was like, given the situation that she was in, she just had to do what she had to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
And
I will say this.
oh,
Sorry. One of the things I read recently was she wanted to maintain authenticity in those kind of situations, and Elias's what was called the warrior's journey for Elias. So she had talked to Marines, police officers, cadets at West Point, basically this whole slew of people who'd go through similar-ish training to what he did to become, these human warrior types, and just to find out like what kind of stuff he would go through and how he would react and what's supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
that's impressive. Yeah, I just, even more than like, I'm aware like it's a survivor's guilt kind of a thing, but just the way that just that line, like life's made up of so many moments that mean nothing, then one day a single moment comes along to define every second after it. Like that, I love that line.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only other one that I marked up was one that Ericka actually talked to me about while we were setting up and getting ready for this. And it was the first time that you see the phrase "An Ember in the Ashes," because the titles definitely do show up within the text of the book. So I thought that this one was a good one as well. And it's Cain, one of the augurs, talking to Elias. And he says, this life is not always what we think it will be, Cain says. You are an ember in the ashes, Elias Venturius. You will spark and burn, ravage and destroy. You cannot change it. You cannot stop it. So I think that was when he was just talking to him about what he had to do, that he couldn't run, he had to stay, that there was like things that had to happen, and him staying was a part of that. But that was another one of the only two things I marked up before I got lazy and was just reading through it.
And it's like what you said earlier about the Augurs having their own plan going out, because they told the same thing to Leia at the end of the story. And that's a really beautiful line. There's a lot of meaning to that line. And I can't wait to read the next ones in the series to see where they go within the story.
Yeah, I made the mistake of finishing the audiobook about 2 hours before this show. So it's like all I can think about.
Julie, you're always the one that reads the rest of the series.
I know, but now I need to wait because there are at least right now 4 books in the series, and the 3rd book doesn't come out. It's scheduled to like potentially come out in 2018, and then the 4th book is scheduled to tentatively come out in 2019. But A Torch Against the Night came out in 2016, so there's nothing this year. She's like taking a gap year until the next one comes out. So I don't know.
I'm glad
I'm
that
not going to complain about you reading ahead for the sheer fact that we always get that one person who's like, so has anybody read the next book and what do you think? And, you know, I never read the next book before I come in because I'm like, I want to see how I feel about this book. And I have another book club I'm in. And I'm like, I have enough to think about with that stuff that I have to read. And I need to keep them both straight.
I'm always a slow one in the group. You all finish it way before I do. All the time.
I know. I finished this one really fast, and I finished it like by like the 3rd or 4th day of the month. So I had like all this time. What was I supposed to do?
Same here. I was like, I went through this a whole lot faster than I was expecting. Like a whole lot faster.
Well, I finished mine this morning.
Well, see, now it's current though. That's good.
Yeah.
Angela is saying in the group chat, she said there's a couple of characters in this book that deserve a throat punch.
Especially the leader of the rebels.
Yes.
And by the way, I would like to say that I love the people that come in and comment, and I love our buddy readers because there's always somebody that just wants to throat punch people in the books. I know we all have thought this about various characters in the various books that we've already read.
Mm-hmm.
But we never say it. Like the 3 of us never say that. Like we try to be nice. We try to think it through. At the worst, we're like, I just want to shake them. I want to do blah, blah, blah. And then there's that one person that's like, no, we're not shaking them. They're getting punched in the throat.
I'm pretty sure I did say I wanted to punch Sophie, though. But she's like the first person I said I wanted to punch.
Did say that.
And then Amber destroyed us all when she mentioned that the gargoyle was actually human. I'm sorry. She did slay us. I don't want to say anything else, though, because this is not a thread for that book, so I don't want to spoil anything. But it was not okay, Amber. Adrian said that she commented that Sabaa Tahir's writing is so impactful in this book, and it's her first book. Like, this is a debut novel for an author, and
that's so amazing. Good. I hope if I was to ever write a book, I want my debut novel to be just as great as this, because this is good. I really love, and her writing kind of reminded me a little bit of Tahir Mafi's writing, especially her quotes. A little bit.
Some of the quotes, but I feel like Tahir Mafi's writing, I started with the Shatter Me series, and that first book of the Shatter Me series was so prosy and flowery, like it drove me bananas. So I can't compare the two, because I definitely think that Sabaa's world building and character development is so much better than
that part is kind of like Sarah J. Maas's, but with her quotes and whatnot, it's like, Tahir Mafi's.
She does have beautiful writing style. Yeah, she does have really, really pretty lines.
I think I'm fine without having a book that it would be as awesome as this. I want to try to get her personality as part of mine in a non-stalkerish type of manner.
No, I feel like we would be best friends if she would just let it happen.
I know, right? And she's got a Twitter feed. I mean, she's got on her website a way to contact the author. Like, I was at work doing research because nobody was in my area, so I'm like, I'm gonna find out stuff and take it to my other thing. And I kid you not, I was on the thing to comment, and I came this close. I'm like, I should really just be like, we're talking about your book tonight on YouTube. You should watch it and see how awesome we are, and just be my group's best friend.
I'm just waiting because I tweeted at her that I finished A Torch Against the Night and that I need more from her. And then I was like, no pressure, Sabaa Tahir. So I'm just waiting for her to think I'm really witty and like it and then follow me. Because listen, if Lee Bardugo can like my tweets, and if Jeff Zentner can respond and comment on my Instagram, I can be friends with Sabaa Tahir.
Yeah. See, I think you're going to be the one where she's like, that Julie's kind of awesome. Laura's a little weird, but we let her tag along. It's cool.
Sabaa and I we'd be great friends. I'm trying to see what else is going on in the group. Angela said she tried to go to other books after reading this and she couldn't. It put her in a slump. She had to go back to this world and keep reading in it.
I can see why.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, right before we came in here, had about a week of a slump. But fortunately, my little slump that I had was after I read this book and I read a couple other books. I'm not sure if I just hit my book overload for the month or if it was attempting to walk away from this world and going, I have to get into another world for other things.
My slump lasted almost a month.
I know, yours was wicked. Adrienne said that she recently had to answer a question about a favorite title, and she used this one because it's so dark, but also shows hope. Talia said that the amount of times that she's thrown this book across the room because of some of the characters' decisions, she doesn't put a number down. I don't think we want to know, but she apparently got frustrated enough to toss this thing a couple times.
I kind of want to know now.
I know. Talia, let us know how many times. I mean, you said it, but you didn't tell us. We need to know. And then Angela said she's still distraught about what Amber said in the School for Good and Evil, and Amber is still laughing about it. So she does not care.
Amber's always laughing about everything, and I'm pretty sure that she secretly loves that we are still talking about her.
Yeah, she doesn't care at all. And also, Amber, if you become best friends with Leslie Walton, you have to let me know, because if she actually direct messages you, I'm going to reach out to her too, because The Strange and Beautiful Stars of Ava Lavender is like gorgeous. So just FYI.
And you guys, I think the Rebels are they're like, to me, based off, especially the leader of the Rebels, it's kind of cutthroat like the Commandant as well, because of how the game he played with Leia, with her brother, well, basically lying to her and lying to the whole Rebels as a whole, and falling into the trap that she had set for him. But I can't wait till he meet his end too.
Yeah. And that was kind of a shitty thing that they did to her brother too, where he actually was trying to learn a skill. Like, he had his art, but he was like learning a real world skill. And as soon as the masks come down, they're like, oh yeah, you should totally go check out that guy, because he may or may not be one of us and you might be interested. No pressure though.
But like she said, she always has spies everywhere, and 2 of the Rebels got caught and turned him in. So we don't really know who the inside guy is within the first. I don't think did they ever say who they was in the first one?
They don't. No, they don't. But I like, genuinely, from day one, being introduced to the Rebels, had such a distrust for them. Like, not only, I can understand protecting your Rebel safe house or whatever, but they were immediately so vicious with her. And even after realizing who her parents were and how like linked she was to the rebellion, and they should have been swearing their like, you know, help to her because of her family like links to the rebellion, I didn't trust them. I didn't trust that there was 2 different factions within the rebellion, that there was like a direction going that other people didn't support. Like, it felt so unstable to me for her to give that level of trust to, and then put herself in such a dangerous situation over and over again just to bring them information that it seemed like they were never using, or that they already knew, and she just kept going back for more. I'm like, dude, you're out. Just go. Just run. Like, there's nothing to be gained by going back. And I never, ever trusted them. I was so shaded out by them.
And like, his intentions never was to help her in the first place, because he knew she wasn't going to survive the Commandant when he sent her to be a spy. And she had a little bit of...
I think it was more he didn't think she would survive, not so much knowing she wouldn't.
Yeah.
I think he was hoping that she wouldn't, and that it would clean up a loose end, that she would bring him whatever she could, and then he didn't care.
Yeah, because like when he went to meet her the first time, she was already beat up, and he just was like, "Oh, okay, now what do you have for me?" He didn't even acknowledge, you know, to see if she's okay, if she needed anything or anything. He did that a bunch of times when they went to meet. And he just finally told her at the end, like, I didn't think that you would survive this long. You surprised me yourself. And then was going to kill her anyway, you know, to keep her mouth shut.
And I didn't trust, I don't know if anybody else felt the same way, but I don't trust Keenan. I didn't trust Keenan.
I don't either.
When I first met him.
I
definitely didn't trust
Keenan. Like, I kind of ship him. I kind of ship him and Leia, but at the same time, I'm like, stay away from him. I feel like there's just something about him that I'm like, I want them to get together, but I also want her to turn around and stay away because he might be using this relationship to either help out the people in charge of the resistance or he's using the information to help out the Empire.
That relationship is so not like doesn't fit.
No.
I didn't really ship anybody within it. Well, it was kind of obvious with Eliza and Helene because I call him Eliza. Oh my goodness,
I
Elias.
was like, really, Elias?
Though the funny thing is, I feel like Elias and Helene are supposed to be the obvious ones that we ship, but I'm like, no, please just don't date her. Just
Katniss and Gale. Katniss and Gale don't belong together, and neither do Helene and Elias.
No, I think they all should just stay friends. I don't ship nobody within it, and it's not even a triangle. It's like a pentagon type thing.
It's too much. Especially when you get to the moon
so
festival.
Apparently tonight's show should be retitled as Math with Java and the Librarians. We're working on our shapes.
Geometry. Because especially when you get to the moon festival and you get like the tribal woman and Elias, and then Elias and her, like all of like the flirting and the craziness, and then he sees her with Keenan. Like it's too convoluted. But I want to get to the group really quick because I did ask them what they thought of the rebels. And by the way, Talia said she threw it at least 10 times.
Knew it. That's the number, I guess.
It is. She said it must have been at least 10 times. Angela said that she understood pretty early on that that the leader of the rebels was not trustworthy. And that she thinks that Keenan's the spy. Just a guess, seems like a dirtbag to me. And then Amber said she's so naive when it comes to the rebels. I think she does. She trusts them way too blindly.
She does, and I think the only thing that she's holding on to is the fact that she can to save her brother. Like that's her only hope.
Yeah.
But she doesn't see, especially how divided they are and how much power this guy has over them.
Yeah. So, I think she's in that situation where she doesn't have a choice. Like she obviously needs help. She can't do it by herself, and they are the best choice for her right now. But it's still not a great one.
Yeah, it's just choosing between the lesser evils.
Yeah. Alicia said, what's up with the 2 rebel units? I don't know. Adrian from Share Inspire Journey Dream does not trust the rebels. Adrian really likes the love triangle. It's the only, I love the triangle. I love the triangle was only thing she didn't like about the book. So she may love or hate it. I don't know, Adrian.
Or maybe she loves and hates it.
Yeah, she may. Carolyn said definitely no Helene and Elias, which I concur with.
Yeah, I don't.
And Angela said it feels too forced. Talia said he did a 180. Keenan did a 180 way too fast from going to hating her to liking her, which is always like you don't. That was just
so. They didn't even spend enough time together to even get to know each other.
Yeah,
I think he just played on her.
A little preschool to me. He keeps picking on you because he likes you, sweetie. He's got a crush on you. It's fine. It's fine. That's why he threw the rock at your head.
No. Yeah, it's like he played on her being naive, and the fact that it's maybe a guilt thing. I don't know. When he sees her banged up, trying to show her that I'm concerned, but at the same time, I really think that's a ruse because he's second in command, so basically he'll do anything that the leader tells him to do. Yeah.
Amber says that she doesn't think Elias ever had those feelings about Helene, like romantic feelings towards her. He just thought that maybe he should. Like, I think he does or did feel guilty that she was very obviously in love with him and that it wasn't reciprocated. And I think especially at that age, like when you're in that kind of a situation, you almost feel like, well, should I at least try? Like, I don't want to hurt her. Like, maybe we'll try it. Like, I'm not really into it, but maybe I'll try.
Yeah.
Carolyn thinks that Mazan, the leader, is the spy, and the mother wanted the Emperor dead, and that Mazan delivered. I don't know. Angela says, I think it's slowly showing her evolution, though she does go from being really trusting. In the end, she understands that she only has herself to rely on, which is true. Adrian corrected herself. She did not love the triangle.
No. And then the commentant said that she knew that Leia was a spy the whole time.
Yeah.
So my thing is, why didn't she do something in the beginning, or did she just use that to her advantage? What would she gain for not, stopping that right then and there?
I don't know. I mean, does she end up trailing her back to where the rebels are? Like, there's always a reason the commandant does something. So I could see her knowing that Leia, I don't know, was a spy and just like allowing it to go on, but keeping an eye on her. Like, I really don't think anything happens that woman's not aware of.
Yeah.
I also kind of feel like maybe she let it happen because if she lets it happen, the girl keeps coming back, and then she uses the girl to get the sword that she wants, or it might not be the. I kind of feel like she obviously knows, but her knowing might not be the obvious answer as to why she lets it happen. It's if I let this happen, I get this side deal that works out, and yeah.
And another thing, I just probably would answer my question, but when the Emperor died, the trap that she set, and she knew that Leia was a spy. She knew that probably she overheard her, and then she went back and told the rebel leader, and that's what she wanted in the beginning as well. So, I don't know, use it to her advantage.
Yeah, they're saying in the group that they think Karis is just really good at plotting and planning, and that it's part of a larger plan, and that Amber says she doesn't think the Commandant even thought that Leia would be worth it, that she, as a scholar, was probably like under her radar and was just like, oh, well, let's see what this girl tries to get up to. Like, she's not going to succeed at anything because I'm not going to give her any information. I'm not going to, we'll just wait and see how much I can break her.
Well, and to the Commandant, all of her slaves are basically just ants, so she could squish them at any time. So who cares what they know? I mean, tomorrow they might not have their eye or their arm or even be alive. So, I mean, let her take whatever information she has, because, I mean, it could end at any moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to talk really quick, if you guys are okay with changing the topic a tiny bit, about the magic and the like mystical aspects of this book, because I thought that they were like pretty unique. They really don't kind of come out until the trial. You've got the Nightbringer, which is just weird, just this weird dude. And then you've got, I think there's the Jinn.
Yep.
But there's like the sand. What was in the sand though? Was that a Jinn?
I think it was.
Yeah. But there's like a lot of weird, which to me felt very like Aladdin Egyptian, not like genie, but like that kind of genre of like mysticism. I was interested to see what everybody thought about that and how that lent itself to this particular book.
It totally had an Egyptian or even like a Far Eastern feel to it, which I kind of think, again, goes back to the brilliance of Sabaa, because she's bringing in the ancient Rome. She's bringing in the Far East, the Egyptian, all of this stuff, and making like kind of a fantastic world for us, because I mean, it's not something that we're seeing or even really they saw in those days. She's kind of, I'm going to put 5 different cultures together to make one and have it work flawlessly.
It does. Amber said they're Ifrits.
Ifrits?
Ifrit? I don't know. She also said she wants to know more about Helene's singing healing.
Yeah, that's really what I wanted to know more about. Like, how did she get that, and how... I really want to know, because she said something about her not being a witch or something. It has to be something of significance going on with her, and we only was able to see that twice within the story, and I really want to know more about that and where it come from. How does it work? What is she really? How is she able to get this?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Who knows? Caroline is schooling us. She said the mythology and setting is Arabic and the system is more Roman, but the weapons, like the names of the weapons that they're using, are also Arabic.
Okay. That makes sense.
I've always been more into ancient Greece, ancient Rome, and ancient Egypt. So anything Arabic that you can toss our way to help us out, fantastic. It's just stuff I don't know, which is part of the reason I ended up sitting down and actually going through the names in the story to try to figure out how it all might fit, and going through, how's the structure function? Where's the setting? Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We do our best to research what we can, but we don't always. Sometimes we just read and come and chat. So that's nice. Thank you for letting us know.
I'm going to put
Angela said it was a little bit confusing. She wished she had known more about like what kind of magic kind of stuff was going on before.
Yeah.
Actually getting into it, because you don't like when you first start reading this, it's just a really brutal world, and you're like, okay, it's like Gladiator-esque. We're going to go through, like, this is going to be the vibe of the story, and then you get into like the first trial, and you're like, are you talking about? There's like a sand creature. Like, what do you mean? What's happening? And if you have like one, like maybe just the Nightbringer, like this weird, evil shadowy figure, like you're kind of like, okay, I can swallow that. But then more stuff does keep getting thrown at you.
Mm-hmm. I think that the third trial was one of the most, not the third, the second, which I think it was the second one, the one where they had to fight each other.
Yeah.
That one was intense.
That was brutal. That
Not
was
good.
just awful.
And the fact that the two brothers had to go against each other.
Was that the second one, or was that the one when they were just left out in the middle of nowhere? Or was that the first one?
Or maybe
One was where they had to fight their fears, and then one was the fighting the fears was like the teamwork where they found where Helene and Elias found each other.
Yeah.
Because he was freaking out.
Yes.
And then the next one was they had to fight each other because one of the twins died in that, and then they had to still go to take the three of them and go on to the third.
Marcus, yeah.
That one was horrible.
Amber, the magic in the second book does not matter yet. Angela and Amber are already talking about all of the magic happening in the second book. We're not talking about it. We're not discussing it, ladies.
Right now,
no, we're not going to talk about it. I already finished the second book, so I already know more, and I'm not going to talk about it.
I have the second book waiting for me to read after the show. So
yeah, Talia asked if Helene always had the magic healing thing, and yes, I believe she did. She was aware of it before it happened. I think that she may not have actively used it, but I think there was at least alluded to the fact that she had inadvertently used it when she was younger or something. So I don't think it was a new development that was there already for some weird reason. The second trial was those weird creatures that you had to cut off their heads. They just kept coming? I don't know.
So they're now fighting a Hydra?
Yeah, no. It wasn't a Hydra. It was like the Wraiths or something. It was I think they were called. I don't know. You couldn't kill them. You had to just chop off their heads, and there was hundreds of them coming at the hole of the cave. Wasn't that the first or second one? I don't know. Jessica cried when they had to kill their friends. That was not okay.
It wasn't.
And you knew it was coming when they were like, we will not stop until you kill the leader of your opposing group. And I'm like, this is not going to end well.
I know. And it's you killed your best friend. You know he's about to get married. Your little frenemies in the corner are killing each other because they're brothers. And oh my God. I mean, I even felt bad for the awful twins. I spent half the book wanting just to slap the twins. But I mean, I even felt bad for them because in some ways, they reminded me of Fred and George Weasley because they were always each other's little buddies and helping each other to do all this evil stuff. And then it's here you go, have fun attempting to fight your brother. Best of luck in surviving.
Yeah. And if the twin, the one that died, he was the weaker one anyway. And I think Marcus knew that was eventually going to happen because Marcus and Helene kind of had an insight within the trials because she knew basically that she was not going to win and Elias wasn't going to win, and then something that Marcus whispered to her early on in the story, so they both kind of had this inside thing going on as well.
I'm sorry, I just saw comments in the thread. The first fight was them getting dropped off in their worst nightmare. Third fight was them fighting their friends. The second fight, I think, was when they had teamed up. But Amber said, too soon, Lauren, and then a sad face with Fred's name.
Oh.
So, not cool. Caroline says she studies archaeology and was told that it definitely played on the Roman Empire, so she was confused for the setting because it seemed more Arabic. But Blackcliff is definitely based on Greek architecture. And Helene, some of the names are definitely Greek. So it's definitely, she definitely pulled from a lot of different areas.
I
Arabic setting.
Double checked all of the names because this is one of the few books where I'm I want to know about these names, what they mean, where they come from. Elias was English and it's a variation of Elijah, meaning the Lord is my God. Helene is French, meaning light. Laia could come from a couple of different places, either being Leia, Leia, being Hebrew for weary. And that one has a variation spelled Laya. Or it could be the Catalan, the Spanish dialect for Eulalia, which is Greek for well-spoken. Canaan is Irish for descendant of the Fairchild. And Sana, who's one of the leader of the second faction of rebels, is Arabic for brightness and radiance. And like as I was reading where all these names came from, like, well, if you're basing it off the Roman Empire, of course you're going to have kids with English names and French names and Hebrew and Irish and Arabic, because those are all areas that the Roman Empire eventually kind of ended up for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I love the detail.
Yeah.
So that it was interesting, but I think that we can all agree it was like such a cool mix of different. It worked together. Like in any other world with any other writer, it could have ended up like a complete shit show, but it actually worked really well.
Mm-hmm. She did good.
Yeah, she did. What was the name of the girl that worked in the kitchen with the cook?
Izzy.
Who the cook?
Izzy,
the cook terrifies me, by the way.
It was also called Kitchen Girl.
The kitchen girl. And
Yeah,
Izzy was.
Izzy, that's what it was. I forgot what it was. She was. I love her.
Yeah, she wanted to help so badly, and
she was so happy at that moon festival. She like got out and she was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, because she's
like, there are people, there are parties, things to do.
I know.
And so
I loved her.
She lost her eye at 5 years old.
And dug that right out.
So
it was brutal. But I do think, how do you feel about the ending? How do you feel about like that final?
I hated it.
The final call to kill Leia, and they're like, "You got to kill her. This is how it ends. Like, this is how we decide who the Emperor is. First one to kill her."
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
To me, it kind of seemed like a weird ending for this gladiatorial contest, because it's like you're not showing bravery or the ability to lead, or really, to me, it's not something that you would necessarily need to do in order to become a leader, where everything else is you have to overcome your fears, you have to learn to make decisions under battle, and be okay with people you love dying because it's battle and they're ultimately dying for the right thing. This isn't a necessary trial.
Yeah, I think it was more because Elias was going to be the clear winner in that situation. I think that the augurs had talked to Helene and basically said her role was to support Elias in becoming the Emperor. At least that's how she took their message to be. So I think that she was probably going to defer to Elias in that situation, and she could have like held off Marcus, because I don't think anybody really wanted him to become Emperor. So I think it really did come down to a power struggle to see how far they could push Elias, and whether or not like Helene was going to push him to finally just like cave and give in to what needed to happen. So I think it definitely wasn't like a strategic for everybody challenge. It was specifically supposed to be for him.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I have to like it though.
Yeah. No, you don't. And that's what everybody's saying. That Elias's mom is just evil and nasty, that was a BS ending because it was really just a test for Elias. Mm-hmm. And that Amber's doing crackpot theories on the cook. We're not talking about it.
I don't know. I feel like it ended too abruptly. With Leia helping him escape.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I hate cliffhangers if you hadn't noticed. But I don't know. I feel like it ended too abruptly the way it did end. But it did leave room for the next one as well. And it's a good, like I said, it's a good foundation book for you to help and get the next one to figure out, okay, what's going to happen with them. Because, now that he's escaped, Marcus and Helene are going to be, basically everybody's going to be after them.
I think it definitely was a great foundational book, and I need to get my hands on the second one. Granted, I also still need to finish the Throne of Glass series, so apparently my TBR list just grew by a couple books. So.
Yeah. Well, this one was an easy one, and it was not a bad audiobook. But Angela's trying not to spoil people because she's already started to read the second one. You better watch it. But I agree. I think that was a brutal test, and then definitely more of like the augurs plotting that she was actually alive and that they had taken a knife for her, but I felt so bad. I think specifically, again, this was another situation where I really felt for Helene because she truly believe that, like, if she trusted in the augurs and followed what she thought, you know, they had spelled out her destiny to be, that like everything was going to work out one specific way, and then nothing actually worked that way, and she ends up, you know, the blood strike to a psycho.
He was very much a psycho.
Yeah. And not strong enough to fight off the corruption of the commandant and not fall under like their sway.
Yeah, he said that he was going to always seek her counsel, regardless of what she
he's
said.
An idiot.
So.
Yeah. Adrian agreed to end it really abruptly, especially because it was marketed as a standalone when it first started. Yeah. I think, honestly, I can see that, but I also do believe, like, hey, like, they only bought the first book, so who knows? I also think that she had to have had enough faith in the strength of her writing to know that people were going to want more than that. You know, like, she wrote it in a way where, like, anybody who picked this up and read it was going to get on social media, talk about it, and say, we need to know what happens next, and pretty much force the publisher's hand to, like, publish another one. I don't think it was really that standalone.
Well, and she had said from basically every time people would tweet her and say, when's the second book coming out? Well, nobody's bought it, but I do have plans. I am going to write one, you know, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I feel like while it was marketed as a standalone, it was probably marketed as a standalone just for the sheer fact that nobody had picked up the second book by the time the first came out.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I'm going to say your name wrong. Is it Jovita? Jovita, maybe. Sorry, I apologize. Says, do you think that Laya's mom is still alive and the cook is her with some kind of magic spell on her?
Wait, say the question again.
Oh my god, I really hope that's the case. Like,
is Laya's mom still actually alive, and is the cook her with some kind of magic spell, or like did the commandant disfigure her enough or something? Because she definitely talks about her mom, like knowing Laya's mom and stuff, but
like I did not think that was the case. Now that the question's there, I kind of desperately want it to be, but at the same time, I feel like my gut reaction might be what I end up sticking with, and that she just knew her mom and was there and saw it and just ended up in this horrible situation, and you know, can't really talk about the rebellion and all of that for the the resistance, for the sheer fact that the more she talks about it, the more of like this kind of stuff keeps happening to her.
I think I don't know. I feel like she's like fake afraid. I think she's way stronger. She definitely knows a lot more of like what's going on. But I mean, she was obviously in the rebellion and then stays there, even though, you know, by now she's worked out ways to get out of there. So
she totally has. And I want to agree that she's fake afraid, but I feel like she's been there long enough that she also realizes that there are repercussions for, you know, talking about this stuff. And this is just a way of getting by. Is, you know, she's going to take you to a corner and she's going to tell you a little bit, but she's not going to, you know, tell you enough to jeopardize, you know, a finger or an eye.
Yeah, and she knows that other people can be used against her and that other people might get hurt if she does do stuff. Jessica would have been really upset if this was a standalone. Amber said, when has an author ever thought that their work was great? We all suffer from self-doubt. Speak for yourself. No, it's true. But honestly, I think that there was strategery behind. Strategery is not a word. There was a
strategic. For strategic.
Oh God. I don't think that anybody ever thought this was truly going to be a standalone. You know, I would think not, honestly. But there's no way that could have stopped. Angela also thinks that she has a theory that the cook is really her mom. Guys, if that's true,
well,
you heard it here first. I don't know. It might be.
I mean, there's magic.
I should have messaged Sabaa and been like, watch her show. And then we could have been like, so she's here. Is the cook her mom?
She wouldn't say anything. Yeah, I don't know.
She does have 2 more books coming out, so she probably wouldn't.
Amber makes a good point, too. She did mess with her voice, like the vocal cords and everything. So it's not like that would have been an identifiable thing. And then with the way that she disfigures people and everything, I mean, who knows? I don't know, but
She made her
Alicia
friend.
also agrees that she's been thinking that Laya's mom's behind a lot of this, and Jessica said that regardless of this theory being true or not, she definitely doesn't think that Laya's mom is dead.
Yeah.
But Amber, Jesus, good Lord, I kind of hope her mom is not alive. It's
Too
just a
soon,
trope we see
Amber.
a
Too
lot.
soon.
Too soon, Amber. Yeah, she said. Well, but she does. She said it's a trope we see a lot. A parent you think is dead, and then they're not, and then they're helping you all along. She's over it.
No,
And
I mean she's totally right. I mean,
she is.
I kind of was thinking the same thing. Not in that kind of wording, but yeah, it was one of those
No.
things where it's like, it'd be great if this was the mom still alive because family reunion. But at the same time, what's the point of keeping the mom alive at this point?
Well, you hope. I mean, at least you hope at the end of this book that she gets to Darren and that she eventually sees her brother, and that is still a family that is left. But I do think that, given how brutal this world is and how unforgiving Sabaa is about the world and the writing and everything, that I don't know that she would do that.
I feel like she went to the George R.R. Martin School of Writing. Oh, you like this character?
Right?
Well, they may or may not be back in book 7.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep up with Twitter. Is anybody saying anything on Twitter?
No.
I'm like trying to go back and forth.
Okay, let me see.
Oh, that's just somebody saying they like my book hauls. Thank you. You're adorable. Now they're laughing at Amber. Amber's brutal. Adrian says, totally different topic. But does anybody else have nightmares about dark and twisted assassins and masks after reading this book? Somebody I know up top said that they had dreams about a sexy redhead after reading this book, and I don't agree with that. Keenan does not show up in your dreams, but Adrian apparently had nightmares about assassins and scary people in masks, which I did not have, and I'm glad.
I slept like a baby. Like I was perfectly fine.
I'm not okay with it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a hard no on me, but I'm sorry because that sounds terrifying.
I mean, I whenever we pick a book or whenever we have the group pick the book, the intention is not to give you the horrifying dreams. But I was fine. I was good. Like I said, I slept like a baby. And the worst part is, speaking of falling asleep in dreams, I actually would read this before I went to bed. I'm like, I'm gonna go into ancient Rome for a little bit and then sleep through the night and be perfectly fine.
It's brutal,
but see, like I had to like marathon this, not marathon it, kind of.
You had to finish it up, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like when I finished reading, I was still like, whoa, all of this stuff that's going on right now. I didn't have like spaces or days to, read it and then stop and then pick it back up. I had to kind of have it done before the show, and I finished it this morning. So
my Goodreads.
Speaking of nightmares, I work with Ericka's mom, and I keep keeping an eye on Ericka's door because she's like, I'm gonna be crashing your guys' party later. So I'm like, somebody's gotta watch out.
No, she came and said hi before it started.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just going on to Goodreads. I don't know if anybody else, by the way, their Goodreads, if anybody's Goodreads is acting up, because my books that I have read are not showing in my recently read. Like I have it chronological and they're not showing up. I'm not okay with it. But the book has like a 4.32 rating. So a lot of us did 5s. A couple people did 4s, but that's about normal.
Why do you say it like that, Julie?
Oh, nothing. I'm not saying anything.
I'm sticking by my decision.
But I always like to go to Goodreads and look at the quotes because they give you good talking points. But one of the ones that somebody shared is, there's 2 kinds of guilt, the kind that's a burden and the kind that gives you purpose. Let your guilt be your fuel. Let it remind you of who you want to be. Draw a line in your mind. Never cross it again. You have a soul. It's damaged, but it's there. Don't let them take it from you. I think that's a really good representation of the book.
Yep.
That particular quote, because there is a lot of dealing with guilt and in the book, and I like that.
There's a lot of guilt within this book, especially with Elias. Leia feels guilty over leaving her brother, but Elias has that guilt of killing his friends. Just that battle, that trial itself nearly destroyed him.
Yeah. People were asking what we pictured the masks to look like. A lot of people are saying liquid silver, but Talia said she can't picture what they actually look like with their masks. So they're basically Jim Carrey in the mask, but obviously silver.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of you've seen those like Halloweeny masks that only come up to about like here, that are kind of like the skulls. That's what I kept envisioning.
I think that was a neat aspect to add to the villains or assassins of the story.
Yeah. Angela said that to her, Helene is pretty. Like, she read her as very pretty, which I did too. So she can't get out of her head. Like, she can't like reason with the fact that she has to wear this mask all the time. Which is true. At a certain point, they stop mentioning that she's actually wearing it. Does the Bloodstrike wear a mask still? If she's not, like, if she's elevated beyond that?
I think
they
that
stop
she
mentioning
does still wear
there.
it because, like, they fuse to their faces.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would, like, randomly fall off or get pulled off or anything. But at the same
when they
time,
take it off of Elias, it's got spikes. Like, it goes in there.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's there. I mean, but at the same time, I kind of feel like with how she is, I want to say that she's pretty too, but I also feel like how she is, though, everything else about her kind of, as the story goes on, becomes more than Helene is this pretty girl that all the guys at school have a crush on. She's this badass warrior woman, and you know, she unlike some of her friends, she handles her shit.
Yeah, it's definitely not all that.
We always underestimate her.
Yeah. Amber said, which is true, and I forgot that it really does. It like molds super fit close, so you can actually see their features. You can see when their facial expressions change, like it becomes one with them, which I forgot as well.
So maybe it is Jim Carrey's mask.
I mean, it totally could be. It just melds in there. Angela would like to know how they make out. How do they kiss? I don't know.
I honestly didn't think about that at all. Maybe it's like kiss with glasses.
They almost did though.
Yeah. I mean, if it melts on there and it becomes one with your skin and it moves with you, you got a mouth hole. Or lips. Metallic.
I'm sorry. Like, I was checking Goodreads for some stuff, and all I hear is they've got a mouth hole and they still got lips. It's fine.
A mouth hole. Carolyn said, I think it did say in the beginning it doesn't cover a mouth. It doesn't. I mean, they have eye holes and a mouth hole. And nostrils.
Maybe it's more like the mask that you buy from Walmart before Halloween.
I'm picturing like a really terrifying like beauty mask, just like those paper masks. I don't know how they make out. I don't, but I'm assuming they find a way because there's still babies.
Takes the lead.
There's still romance. Although, is there like, I feel like, I mean, if they can get rapey, they find ways. Basically, I don't know. Now we're all thinking about it. Yes, Angela, thank you for that.
We are.
So now that we've gone down this rabbit hole, what else is to be discussed with the book?
I'm trying to see, guys in the chat room. Let me know. I'm looking through a couple quotes just to see if there's anything else that because I read this so long ago, just to see if there's any like really pivotal moments or lines that I missed. But if you guys actually marked up your book or put any notes in there, or if there's like a favorite scene or something else that we haven't touched on yet, definitely comment in the chat room and I will come back and check on it because I want to make sure we're hitting on everything that you guys want to talk about. Because I know so many of you read this with us and wanted to talk about it too. So anything else, let me know.
I'm looking at Goodreads too, and I'm loving like what people are saying on there. Like, this book will destroy you. Yes, it will. P.S. Elias's mind. Shh. No one understands him like I do. No, sweetie, we don't. It's fine. Take him. This one will be popular. Yes, it will. I'm like, this is as I'm reading them, like everything I'm thinking.
Oh, you're going through reviews. I'm going through like the actual like quotes from the book.
Yeah, I'm doing like the reviews, which I mean, I kind of love the reviews just because like they end up entertaining me as much as like the quotes or the book.
They can get entertaining. Yeah. That one, what was the military slogan that Elias repeats to himself over and over again, which, spoiler alert, he does in the second book too. But the field of battle is my temple, the sword point is my priest, the dance of death is my prayer, the killing blow is my release. I was like, that's intense.
Yeah. That's kind of creepy. I mean, that doesn't sound serial killer-y at all.
No, he repeats it over and over again. I'm like, the dance of death is my prayer? Like, for real? But in that world, I mean, for a mask, I get it.
Like, I get it, but I mean, if you were like randomly walking down the street and hearing this kid
Somebody
would be
mumble that?
you'd be like, I'm suddenly needed in this brightly lit area,
You
and
can walk over
no
there.
need to follow me anywhere ever.
I like the book map. Did you all with this one? I don't know if you guys can see this.
I don't know if I got to come back to you. I'm not looking at you.
Anyway,
Where's
well,
the
the
book
book
map?
map. At the beginning, I like it, and then even in the back of the book, it has a map of everything
Oh, I do.
for Black Health Academy.
Yeah, I do have one. I inadvertently have the UK cover, but I do have the map in there.
Yeah.
Let me
I
see
think I
if
have the
anybody.
same cover as you, but in hardbound.
That's what I had.
Yeah,
But maybe they can see mine a little better. Like that's the map of the universe or the country, whatever the hell it is. And then there's the school / warrior temple.
oh, that's cool. Amber said that Elias does mention her silver face glinting in the light a lot, so I guess they do still get around to that. How about the gypsies who danced Eliza
At the Moon Festival.
at the Moon
Gypsies
Festival?
are fun.
The gypsies are fun. The tribe, because I guess so. Elias was left with, the tribes. He grew up out in the tribes because his mom abandoned him until they brought him back to school. So there's ties there. I'm hoping that eventually they become allies. She did give him that coin to like call in a favor. So, they definitely have a part to play, and I'm hoping that it's for good because there's enough forces the opposite direction. So I'm hoping that eventually the rebellion becomes less of an ally and the tribes become more of an ally. But they seem really interesting. She was a feisty little tribeswoman.
I really like them.
Yeah, I thought that whole scene was really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was, you almost forgot that they're out there like murdering people all the time when they're like dancing and just kind of being flirty. It was really sweet. Elias, he gets a little steamy.
Yeah.
I was like, you could get your flirt on. Like, you go like pretty quickly from being like pretty ruthless, even though you've got a good heart. He turns on the smolder. I was like, hey now.
Now we're in Disney. Like, time for the smolder.
The smolder. Yeah, exactly. What was that? The guy from Tangled?
Yeah, Flynn Rider.
Oh God, it's so funny. Yeah, exactly. But he does. He turns it on. Alicia said her favorite is "You are full, Laia, full of life and dark and strength and spirit. You are in our dreams. You will burn, for you are an ember in the ashes." She used that line a lot, but that is really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That is a really good one.
I did find this review. I think it deserves to be read just for the sheer fact that nobody's voiced this opinion yet. Nope. I know Sabaa Tahir hardly received any criticism, and absolutely everybody is amazed. Not me. I'm the opposite of amazed. For starters, the concept is ancient. Boy and girl are actually enemies that fall for each other. There is a spark, there is a revolution, there is a trial where the competitors have to fight until only one survives. Much creative. Still, some authors are able to work out a thrilling story. Sabaa Tahir was not. Next thing, the characters are shallow. There is no character depth in Leia or Elias or in anyone else. They were one-dimensional, and their heavy guilt and sorrow bored me to death. Don't even get me into started on predictability. Everything just felt absolutely unrealistic to me. The poor world building and the fast-paced plot only made it worse. I couldn't get into it, but I really hate not finishing novels. I know this is a debut novel, but sadly, it also reads like one. Okay, I think I see where the problem is already. They didn't finish it. They need to actually get through it, but that's just me. I don't understand the hype, this rating, this book. This is my most disappointing read of 2015, and I know it comes as a total shocker, but I won't even touch the sequel.
All right. Well, you're wrong, but that's fine.
Yeah, because it was good.
Like I said, I read it just for the sheer fact that nobody voiced that opinion, so it might be worth mentioning.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you're right, it can feel very like Hunger Gamesy, and there's absolutely tropes in this, and there's fallback plot points in some of it, but I also think it's very originally done as well. Like, I think that the writing style and just all the other things that she brought into the world, I don't think the characters fell flat. I don't think they were one-dimensional, and I don't think that the world building was poor. Do I think it was like the most original premise for a book? Maybe not, but I do think that it was still done well.
Yeah. A lot of YA books have almost this exact same tropes within that, and you just have to take your own originality and throw that in there. And I think she did a great job with doing this.
And I mean, I've always heard that there are like 4 standard storylines that just keep getting repeated in every book. One being boy meets girl, boy falls in love, boy loses girl, they get back together. I mean, that's going to happen in like a quarter of the books you find, apparently.
Yep.
True. I'm trying to look through other quotes, but I am just stoked that our collective buddy reading group and general like social media voted on this book and picked a good one. But you guys definitely did inspire us to then go and pick the fill-in boyfriend for next month, because I was like, no more first of a series. I cannot continue to lose entire TBR months to the rest of the series.
We all were kind of doing that, because I think everything I threw out there was just standalones. I'm like, God, and I think you were doing the same thing, Julie, and so was Ericka, where we're like, here are one and done books. We need to stop this cycle.
Yeah, especially for me, because you guys know I have to binge through the rest of the series. I can't like leave it at book 1. So I'm like, I'm losing all of my reading time continuing after I read the first book, because we keep picking the first book.
I think it's good that we got a contemporary for next month, because I think everything that we've read, except for the second one, has been fantasy.
I'm excited about it. Angela would still like to throat punch that reviewer. She's really into throat punching. I'm glad I don't know where you live, Angela, but I'm glad you're not in my immediate vicinity, because I feel like you are very fond of throat punching.
Or maybe we should just be glad that she likes us.
That too. Until we have like a differing opinion, and then she's gonna be like, poof. I was like, good Lord. But yeah, I'm super, super stoked on a contemporary month. I actually committed myself wholly to only contemporaries for next month, with the exception of A Court of Wings and Ruin. So I think that having a first book of a series, or just a standalone for the next month, will be a lot of fun. And I know that I threw out this idea to Ericka, and I think, Lauren, you were in the Facebook thread as well. But I want to throw it out to the people that are in the live chat, or to comment afterwards. If you like watch this after the fact, comment down below and let me know your thoughts on potentially doing a second book in a series, if we give you enough time to have read the first book, or if a second book of a series is coming out and like releasing, like newly releasing in an upcoming month with enough interest. Would you guys be willing? So far, we've only done first books and or standalone this next month, but would you be willing to do a continuation of a series if we weren't like 5 books in and it was something you guys could catch up on? Yeah. So let us know in the comments or in the group if that's something that you guys would be down for, because there's plenty of series that
that need reading.
Books without
that need reading, yeah.
So
everybody in there is now just going off on A Court of Wings and Ruin, which I don't listen. Some people are already getting shipping emails, and I'm not okay with that. So hush your mouths. You have to wait, because I have not gotten mine yet.
Well, mine is on Kindle, so it'll be auto delivered then I'll wake up to my book. I can't wait.
So Julie.
So jealous. I'm so jealous. I also, just small aside, woke up this morning to an email from Barnes & Noble that I had $128 worth of a credit that I could go and spend. And
Barnes
then
Noble, like, never sends me that. Clearly I need to get on the same deal you're on.
Yeah, well, they were like, it was for like overpaying for ebooks or something, and they're like, oh, you were part of a settlement.
I'm not on that deal.
You get $128. Go buy some books, and I was like, awesome, because I'm going to go buy Leigh Bardugo's The Language of Thorns, and I wanted to buy a couple other books that were coming out, and I was like, perfect. And then before I could order anything in the afternoon, I got an email like, that email was sent in error. I was like, come on! It was the worst.
Maybe I don't need to be in on your deal as Julie, because it's like
that would have wrecked me.
But here's the thing. They did send me one like that last year, and I spent it because it's me. So I was like, how did I get it again? I haven't bought that many ebooks. Like, I went to physical copies for BookTube. Like, how did I rack up that much again? So it was valid at one point. That is what I got, but not anymore. So, I mean, I guess I can't be that mad about it, but I was pretty mad about it. So I came home and ordered one book anyway, just to make myself feel better.
Yeah, that would have wrecked me in so many ways.
Yeah. I think it seems like a lot of people are down for a second book if they've got time to read the first. Like, if we give enough notice for them to read the first one on their own, and then we'll buddy read the second.
Yeah.
So I guess a follow-up question was, how did everybody like moving the BookTube show to the last weekend of the month, and how did they like the evening show?
I liked us in the afternoon, but like schedule things, stuff that we couldn't control, you know. But
Yeah.
I think that did work better, especially people overseas. The afternoon worked better than the evening.
Yeah, I think afternoon works better in general time-wise with time change. Unfortunately, guys, I will let you guys know that are tuning into the live show and or this after the fact. I will discuss it in the Buddy Read group as well. But because the spring and summer months are upon us, we are not doing the 3 o'clock Saturday show anymore. Mainly, I will say I'm probably to blame for this, but I do have a place where my family goes during the summer on the weekends, and it's in the mountains. So Wi-Fi is questionable, and I would like to still have family time and not have to worry about finding a quiet place with a house full of people because it's a smaller house. So we will probably not be doing weekend shows in the coming months until we get back into fall and winter. So we're looking now at probably doing weeknights.
I
So we'll
think
do our
Tuesday and
best.
Thursdays were the ones that we were eyeing. And I mean, no lie, I love the group. I love talking to you guys. But Eric and I have summer reading coming up for the library, and for myself, a weekend here and there that actually is to myself will probably be nice. And I'm sure, you guys will also be like, yeah, it'd be nice to have, life outside of book stuff.
I think for next month we can, I don't know, you guys can let me know, have a week show because that we had, like Lauren said, have some reading come up in the third weekend. Pretty much all of our weekends are going to be kind of hectic, and I think a week show will work better for next month.
So eventually, I think our goal is to get to like a midday weekend video, like filming schedule, but it might not happen for the next couple of months, unfortunately. But we do take into account our international viewers, and we super, super appreciate and value you. So it's not going to be our regular. We're not going to switch permanently, but during this like busier time for everybody, because I know Talia said it's 1 a.m. where she is, and I know Adrian, she says it's 2 a.m. where she is. So we've got some late night warriors staying up and chatting with us about our books.
Thank you for staying up.
And thank you for so much for that. I mean, I promise we aren't doing this on purpose. It's legitimately, work and family commitments that's driving us either midweek or into nights. And I promise it's just a little bit of time. And
yeah. Well, it seems like I think our nights were actually between us were Tuesdays or Wednesdays. I don't think Thursday was an option, but Amber said Tuesdays would work for her. Angela saying she votes for Tuesdays as well. And this was Jovita's first live show. Angela was super anxious waiting for this because she was so excited to come and chat with us. And I'm so grateful to everybody who's in the Buddy Read group and actively reading and reaching out and networking with other people. It's a lot of fun. So, we're going to do our best to accommodate as many of you for the live shows as humanly possible, but we will probably switch to a Tuesday night tentatively for next month. We'll let you know once we finally have it. Adrian said I'm moving the times on everybody because she thumbs down all my videos. She didn't. I tweeted, I was like, who thumbs down a haul? Adrian said it was her.
Yes, Adrian, that's exactly what we're doing. Like 100%.
Amber loves these shows and chatting with her bookish friends. So I know we do our best to make these as fun for you guys as possible, to include your comments as much as possible in the actual live show, and to get feedback from you on times and on books and all of that. So we really do take you into consideration, because it's not that much fun for the three of us to just sit around and read books. We want you guys to be engaged and involved. So we're all super, super excited for our contemporary month. We will all be active in the Facebook Buddy Read group. But I'm just glad that we all picked a book that, for the most part, were 4 and 5 star, and nobody hated it.
Except for that one reviewer.
Except for that one person who apparently Angela will throat punch and take care of for us. So it's not a problem.
Thank you, Angela. I knew I loved you.
And we'll let you know when our next show is for next month.
Yeah, it'll get posted in the Buddy Read group for sure. We'll let you know once we have a date scheduled and nailed down for ourselves.
Yep.
But I think that covered it for this live show, guys.
It was fun. Thank you all.
And look at that. We lasted about 2 hours on this. Whew.
Yep. We're doing good.
We did do good. We did good. I think there was a lot to talk about. It was a really rich, diverse, like really amazing book. So I'm excited.
Yep.
Although I would anticipate just a really quick, fluffy contemporary read. I don't know how much we're going to really be able to dig deep into that one, but I don't even care. I'm so excited for it.
I would be okay if we can't dig deep in it, as long if it ends up being one of those that we can spend like 2 hours just making fun of. As awful as that is. But I will be the first to admit I'm an awful, awful person. That's probably why you guys hang out with me.
I'm going to do my best to actually mark up and write in and take notes while reading. That's going to be my promise to you guys, to try to get a better vibe when I get to the live show. Angela, thank you. No, not Angela. Adrian. Adrian's going to go to bed. She said it was fun. She's going to go get some sleep. It's 2 a.m., girl. Yeah, you got kids.
Yeah, go do that.
Go to bed. So thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of our Buddy Read group. We're super excited to read The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West with you. If you have not already gotten that from your library or ordered it, order it now. I will probably try to sneak that in before A Court of Wings and Ruin gets to my house, but who knows? So we can all buddy read at our own pace and talk about it in that group throughout the month until the show.
Yep. Thank you all.
And feel free to ask questions, make comments. We do check the buddy read, we check the live feed, we check messages, text messages, all of that. I mean, that's whenever you guys see me on here looking weird and like looking at other stuff, that's usually what I'm doing. Same with Julie, same with Ericka.
Well, thank you all, and I hope you all have a good evening.
Evening.
See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.